Hi YouTube, it's Robin. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to all my new subscribers. It really means a lot that you found me and that you like me and you've said that my videos are helpful to you, and I am so glad, because that's exactly what I wanted. If sharing my stories helps you in any way, done my job. So I also want to say thank you to Renee for Christ. She gave me a shout out on her last video. Thank you so much. I love you. And Nurse Nicole, she, for personal reasons, I mean, none of our business, but she took all of her videos down. She was fabulous help to me. Her personal channel page is still up, and she added me onto the nursing family down below. So I really appreciate that, Nicole. Thank you so much. Today I wanted to go over some of the things that I did to get started once I figured out where I wanted to go to school, so that maybe you guys can kind of start thinking about what you need to do. And I started with, actually, I knew I was going to need high school transcripts because I went on the school's website and I kind of started reading along, and they gave a few things of, what they were going to need and such, and I started writing down questions that I had that I couldn't necessarily find on the website. So first thing I did was I emailed I called my old high school in Washington State, and I told them what I was doing, that I wanted to go back to school and that I needed my high school transcripts. And she gave me the name and email of the person that I had to contact to get all that information. She said in the email that I send her to include my name, maiden name at the time of graduation, full name, the year I graduated high school, the address I wanted them sent to, how many numbers of copies I was requesting. I asked for 2, even though I knew I was only going to one school. Eventually I might do a bridge program, I'm not for sure, but I just went ahead and asked for a couple copies because I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know what kind of process that was. I got them within a week. They were in the mail within a week. What you have to know, though, is that the school that you're going to will only accept them if they are sealed. So this is how, well, let me give her my name. They just came in a manila envelope like this, but inside, I asked for 2 copies. Inside was an envelope, and on the back, if you notice, it says official transcript void if seal is broken. Okay? So if you want a copy for yourself so you can see how you did back in high school, just add on an extra copy. I know mine probably wasn't the best. I mean, I wasn't horrible, but I didn't put forth the effort I know I could have. It happens. But anyway, that's one thing you're going to need. So once I got that in the mail, I was so surprised and pleased that it came so fast. Once I got that, I went ahead and I printed out the school application. I found that online. I printed a copy of that out and I filled it out the best that I could. And then I called the school, the admissions office, and made the appointment with the admissions counselor, or they gave me the name of the admissions counselor, what time I was going to meet her, what day, and everything. And she was fabulous. She was absolutely fabulous. And she had actually gone back to school. I want to say she said she was 58. And when she was 40, she had gone back to school because she really wanted to be a counselor. So she had gone back to school, and she kind of giggled at me because I had my binder and I had my little tabs and everything was separated, and I had my list of questions in the front pocket. And she goes, I told her how nervous I was about going back to school, and she said, oh honey, you're going to be just fine. So anyway, what she did was, well, I gave her my application, I gave her my high school transcripts, and she started telling me about the nursing program and explaining to me the steps it takes to be accepted into the clinical program, how I was going to have to start with prerequisites, if any, which I was going to have. And she was telling me about the placement tests, which I explained in my last video that I was going to have to take. What that is, it's a computerized test. You call the testing center and you make an appointment, or you can just walk in. And actually I was walking because they gave me the hours for walk-ins, and with work I wasn't quite sure when I could get away, but I got away on a Friday afternoon, and I went in and took the test, and I want to say it took me around an hour or so. I needed to know basic arithmetic, you know, adding, subtracting, multiplication, division. You need to know some algebra and such. You need to know fractions and decimals and percentages. Sorry. How to take a fraction and change it into a decimal, or change it into a percent, and vice versa, and all that kind of thing. They gave you different fractions with different denominators, meaning the number on the bottom, and you had to put them in order from least to greatest, things like that. So if you're not, there were story problems, you know, basically just brush up on your arithmetic and basic algebra. If you need to, you know, there's plenty of books out there. Go online, there's things like that. On my school website even, they had a tab that I could click on and it gave me sample questions, so I kind of knew what format they were going to be given, how they were going to be asked, and things like that. I like to get myself familiar with that because I'm old school. I was used to just pen paper kind of thing. They do give you scratch paper to work your problems out. I also they tested my reading comprehension, so they gave me, you know, very short stories or a paragraph or two, and they would ask me questions, multiple choice, and some questions were even like, what kind of story is this? Is this informative? Is this suggestive? You know, things like that. Sentence restructure. Now this part I didn't really like, I have to be honest. They gave me a sentence, and then they took a part of the sentence, and they said, take this and rewrite it using options below to make, so sometimes it was the center of the sentence you had to refix, sometimes it was the beginning or the end, so that got kind of confusing. So I did that. I scored pretty well. I did not do bad at all. If you have to retake a test, a portion of the test, or like the math part, if you didn't do as well as you wanted to, or the reading part or such, it was just $2. You know, you can go back a week or two later and paid $2. Hold on just a moment. I'm sorry. Okay, she went away. You can take, like I said, you could take a portion of the test over again if you wanted. Let's say you were just a couple points shy of starting where you wanted to with math. Now, if you were off by 10, 15 points, yes, you might need a refresher math course or whatever, but if you were just a point or two or three away, pay $2. Take another week or a few days and kind of relook and, you know, go over some more things and pay $2 and take it again. It's a lot cheaper than, you know, taking in class and taking a little bit longer to get done. The initial advisor also showed me statistics from graduates from the nursing program. She showed me, well, kind of what I found on the Department of Education website for that school, their passing rates for passing the nursing course, and also for passing their NCLEX. She showed me all of that. They also asked their graduates, like 6 months after graduation or whatever, to fill out surveys, so they kind of know who already had a job, like their starting salaries, things like that. So that was actually kind of cool to see. All but what from the last year, all but one was working, and that one person wasn't working because they just wanted to continue the bridge program. They went right to the university and wanted to complete their BSN. They didn't want to work while they were going to school. So other than that, they were working in hospitals, some were in clinics, some were in nursing homes and such. So that was very encouraging, and the starting base salary wasn't too shabby. So their average starting base salary. So that was pretty cool. She also showed me this piece of paper, and I kind of explained this in my last video. I explained that we are judged by kind of a point system of how they accept people into clinicals. This is what it looks like. Okay. So it's 16 possible points. They look at your anatomy and physiology. Again, you get 4 points for an A, 3 for a B, 2 for a C. They look at your math. It's applied clinical math. You get the same amount of points. Your basic English, you can get a point, and your reading class, which you can get a point. Then down here, the NLN test that I have to take, you can earn up to 6 points. A 90 to a 99, I would get 6 points for that. 80 to an 89, 5 points, and so on. So the most I can get here is 6, 1, 1, 4, 4, equaling 16 points. What they will do is they will accept the 16s first, and then the 15s, and then the 14s until the seats are filled, and so on, until their seats are filled for however many seats they have available, and that differs, I guess, from semester to semester. So that was really good for me to know. Now, my school has different locations, different branches around the state. Even though it's the same community college, they don't do the same as the other branches. Some of the other branches, you just need a C to be able to apply for a clinical seat. The reason our school kind of changed that in the last 2 years was because they were finding people who had C average were struggling a little bit with their math and their sciences once they're in the clinical program. So, I mean, of course some were still doing well, but some were failing and flunking out and such, and so they just saw a better success rate by taking the ones who had the higher grades, whatever. So if that doesn't work for you, if you're a C student and you're just trying really hard and such, you know, check into that too. You might need to go to a different satellite or location of that school. That's why I know I really need to crack down and do the best I possibly can in my core subjects, because that's how they're going to pick me. Let me see. And then she also assigned me to a nursing advisor who will also be one of my instructors eventually in one of the nursing courses once I'm accepted into the clinical program. They gave me the name and the number of that secretary, so I called when I got home and I made an appointment with that advisor, but I made it for after the placement test because they'll want to see your results so they know what kind of classes that you have to start with and take. I was able to start the basic level everywhere I needed. I didn't have to take any refresher courses, so that was good. So he actually mapped me out from fall, when I start August 22nd, and he mapped me all the way through clinicals. He told me when to make an appointment to take my NLN. He told me when to apply for my clinical seat. He told me everything. He was awesome. He explained to me about day and evening and weekend classes. He asked me about, you know, my support system at home. Was I going to continue working or not? I think they just kind of want to go over any bumps in the road with you if you know, they've been through this so many times with so many different students. Let's say I had to work and stuff. I mean, I'm sure he would have talked to me about all that or whatever. But they were just awesome. Like I said, the only bump in the road really has been financial aid. I went online and filled out my FAFSA, and I'm just waiting to hear back from the school about student loans. So, you know, we're approaching mid-July here, and I have to have a payment to them by the end of July, but I still haven't heard whether or not they're going to give me a student loan, and I have to go through the school. I can't go out and find my own. They don't accept that anymore for whatever reason. So, yeah, that's kind of bothering me a little bit, so I'm checking the mail every day, hoping to get something, saying yes or no, just so I know what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry, just checking my notes here. I don't want to leave anything out. Oh, nursing advisor explaining to me about registration. He said for new students, I couldn't do it online. It had to be done in person. I think registration day was April 18th. And he said, be there early. Early. They open at 8. I said, okay. I was there at 6. He said, because there's limited seating in certain courses, like your clinical math, your anatomy and physiology, your microbiology. He said, keep this in mind for each time registration comes around, and I'm going to need different of these classes because it's for the dental students, it's for the EMT students, it's for the paramedic students, it's for the nursing students, it's for the x-ray technicians. There's so many different people, not just the nursing program. So many different people need these classes where, you know, they have tons of math classes and language arts classes, but not so much of the medical some of the science.